All right.
Welcome back to the Voices of Women Summit, where, in honor of International Women's Day 2022, we are raising the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Janette Anderson. Janette is the founder of Bodacity.ca. She's got another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Janette.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this wonderful session of Voices of Women. And I have another fabulous woman here for you to meet, Christi, who is here to support us in making our flying leap, perhaps. She's going to be talking about my flying leap. And I'm going to tell you a bit about her, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling right away. So Christi is an international speaker who has shared the stage with Dr. Michael Beckwith and Mary Morrissey, Dan Millman, author of The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, as well as Reverend Edward Viljoen. I'm not sure if I said that right. Bion, international speaker and author of The Power of Meditation. She is the author of Beyond the Box and The Creative Way in 5 Minutes a Day, a vision-driven program to awaken creative thinking with a daily practice, and she's a creator of tangible tools for success. She's an expert at helping others make amazing changes. Chrissy loves helping clients discover and express their own unique gift and share it with the world. Love that. Thank you so much for being here, Chrissy. I really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about what you're passionate about and excited about, and about the power of thought.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoy being here. There is a reason that I'm passionate about knowing that our thinking controls our experience. And it was a day when I was deep in my transformational process, and I was telling a lie about myself, that I wasn't worthy, that, these little chattery pieces come up in our lives. Next thing I know, I find myself in my flying leap, 8 feet above the floor of a conference room that we were in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this does not look good. What had happened is that I had been in a deep dive transformational work with my mentor and coach, Mary Morrissey. And as we were doing this, I said, I'm not going to be a speaker. I'm just going to attract people on social media. And and I was with another one of the staff there, and he kind of looked and said, oh, really? And when we went to do our final ceremony at the end of that, it was in this beautiful suite, penthouse suite. We were going to walk down these stairs and go to this beautiful big picture window that looked out at the ocean. And I quite frankly don't even know what the ceremony was, because I missed the first step. And I found myself flying into the room. I was midair, and the first thoughts I had were, oh no. And all I could imagine was a broken body. And I paused and I went, I am well. And I changed my thinking immediately. I am well. And as I was flying into the room, I came down that 8 feet. I hit the ground, splat, and everybody that was already, I was almost the last person that was standing at the window, gasps and look around. There was a few people, two medical professionals also, that immediately said, call 911, this is bad. And I sat there and I laid spread eagle on the ground, and I went, and I'm hearing that's really bad. And I said, no, I am well. And I started to move and I started to feel pain in my body. And I went, no, I am well. And then I finally sat up, and my mentor, Mary, came down the steps and she got in my face while I'm sitting on the ground now. And she goes, oh, you told me you were going to get into the game. So one of the important things about that was the work that I had done, so much depth in the work to really know that there's so many thoughts that run us that are not even our own thoughts. 90% of our thoughts are recycled thoughts that we got from someone else, from our parents, from our teachers. And it really takes laborious work to get to practice to have your own thoughts. And that's what I was able to do midair. I
Mm.
am well. Now, Wayne Dyer has a wonderful saying. He says, what do you get when you squeeze an orange? Well, we all know the answer to that: orange juice, right? And that's the practice we have to do, is become orange juice, or our own thinking, having our own thoughts, so that when we get squeezed or we're 8 feet midair, that we can then change our thinking midair. And that's why I became so passionate about this, is because people say they know it, they know that our thinking changes, but when I look at people's lives, I realize they know about it and not that they know it. And
Mhm.
so I really want to help people to know it. Now, I am an artist. In fact, one of my main profession now is an intuitive artist, and I actually help people through my imagery, help them have breakthroughs. And and I've always been an artist, and so all of my work is always geared around that. So I knew that my masterpiece in the world was to help people really get inside them, just as if an orange has orange juice in them, the idea that they can change their thinking at any moment, and even moments of stress. Now, I've
Mhm.
had my own stressful week this week. My husband ended up in the hospital with a very severe pneumonia. In fact, the pneumonia was so severe and unique that all the doctors in training were coming in to listen to his lungs, right? And they thought it was great, but then they'd say, "Oh, sorry," it wasn't. But then they also found, during that time, they found a spot on his chest, and they needed to check and see if it was cancer or not. Well, you hear that C word, and what does your mind do? It is difficult to, unless you practice, 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 to remember to go to truth without denying the appearance. I wasn't going to say, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's nothing." No, as another one of my favorite authors, she has a book called The Invisible You, uh, Genevieve Behrend, she says, "Leave no stone unturned." You still leave no stone unturned, and you know the truth. And so, um, and there's another secret to this: is we weren't put on this planet with a million other billions of other people to do this on our own. So when I can't remember the truth, when I'm in the midst of it, if I can't shift, I call my friends, I call my peers, and I say, "Please know this truth for me." And that's a real asset, to have people around you that won't go into the pity party. "Oh my gosh, that must be frightening." Da, da, da. Instead, all of my friends just went right into prayer, right into truth, right into, "You are supported." And so that's another great tip. Not only change your thinking midair, but have a support team around you.
I love that. There's so many things in what you just said that are valuable. But first of all, I want to send you some love for your husband and for being here and showing up in spite of all of the stress that's going on. That's really, truly takes something to do that and to show up and be positive and a presence and pour into other people when that's going on. So I hope
We
he
did get
heals quickly.
we did get the results, and it's not cancer.
Good. Awesome. Good. Awesome. And I love that line of notice truth for me. I think that's a brilliant, awesome call to our friends and our support network to, because sometimes we say, "Can you help me?" But we don't necessarily know what that means, nor do they. And to give them that little instruction of notice truth for me, which is a brilliant way to say, "Help me get past my BS and my stories that are not supporting me right now to what is true, to what is possible," is a brilliant framing for that. I also have a fall down the stairs story, but I didn't make an entrance into a room full of people in an event. So good for you for creating support around that as well. Nice to have medical professions on hand and a coach there to support you in the reframing. That's brilliant. And I also loved your comment about to know it is not necessarily to know it versus knowing about it, because I think a lot of people, especially people who take lots of trainings and come to events like this, we know lots of things. We think we know it, but to know it and not do it is to not know it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not the orange juice if it's just notional.
Right.
So tell us about that, because you mentioned lots of hard work. What are some of the things that helped you turn that into orange juice, to turn that
Well,
reframe into something that comes naturally?
there are, well, first of all, I've always been a Pollyanna, so I got a good start on it. I see the good in life ever since I was a little child, right? But even with my clients, I encourage them to pause randomly and just say, what are my thoughts? It's like a muscle to be able to pause and think, what are my thoughts? And then the next step is, what are the thoughts I want to be having? Now, this isn't just when you're in trauma or in catastrophe or even in a bad mood. It's all the time. Build that muscle. And so sometimes I tell people to set a timer on their phone just to pause them and say, what's your thought right now? And that builds the muscle of being able to pause and repattern.
I love that, and it is a lot of work. I was flying from here to South Africa. Really quick story. I got out of the plane. It's been a long flight. I ended up tripping up the gangway as you're going up those little tubes, and hurting myself. My luggage went flying, and all the first class passengers were behind me waiting, and it hurt a lot. And the very first thought I had was, "Oh, sweetheart, that's not a great way to start this trip." And it was so compassionate. And my second thought was, yay, all the personal growth work is paying off, because that was my first thought, instead of, well, that was stupid, or boy, isn't that dumb, or boy,
Yes,
etc.
yes,
Was
yes.
compassion. And it was
Mhm.
because of all of the work that I had done. So, what are some of the things that you encourage that people do practically to help support them in those mind shifts?
Well, one of the things I encourage people to do is create an assets list for themselves. And that is all of the things that they have done, accomplished everywhere from graduating high school, being a kind person in the world. And to create a list, and then when you need reminding of who you are and what you're doing, you have a resource to go back to. And
Mm,
that's part of what I call creating the container. So in my book, I start with line, which is, where are you now? The point, where are you now? Where are you going? No, I start with point, then line. How do you connect that? Because I'm using the art metaphor. And then when you connect that line, what do you pour your dream, your vision into? And one part is the assets. And then the second part is just what I told you I did, which was have your team around you to support you. And with that container, you pour your dream into that, and that's what you get. And I just want to say the fourth thing, which is color, right? Because you and I are in the purple hair. Color is the passion that allows you to move forward to bring your dream into the world.
beautiful. I love that. And I really like that you spoke to the what I call the be do have, the that it's not just about do do. We're in a society of do do, a lot about doing, but really it's also on that list of things that you write down. Who do you want to be in order to do those things? Because coming without the being, sometimes the doing just doesn't happen, and then we don't have the results we want. So that's a
Right.
beautiful reminder to put, who do you want to be in the world? Do you want to be kinder? Do you want to be, what do you want to be? Um, Tell us a bit more about the intuitive artwork that you do, because I know creativity is a big part of what you encourage and support others with. So tell us about embracing that creativity.
So, as well as being a transformational life coach and etc., I'm an art therapist as well. And so I worked with people to encourage them to use art to bring the subconscious from the surface to the surface so that they could then address it. One of the challenges I found was people's monkey minds, and they couldn't do this. So I started actually doing drawings for people intuitively, and then showing them the drawing and asking them, what do you see? I actually just had a client here that just before this, that this was the start of a drawing for her, and she gained such clarity of why. So her stuck place was right here. I didn't know what it was, but it was from her family telling her to stuff this down. And that's generally what happens is that we have some beliefs that we just haven't gotten rid of. I have one woman who is a energy coach and for executives and high powered people, and she comes to me to get her unstuck places. And there was this crossover like this, and it was about money, right? And as I drew, then made that a flow, she remembered a memory that she had from her uncle going into ministerial school and saying money is unspiritual. And she
Mm.
said, I didn't think I was living from that anymore. I mean, she, she's very successful. But something was niggling at her. And she goes, oh, now that I know that, I don't need that anymore. Boom, gone. So when we can bring
Beautiful.
those to the surface to be dissolved, actually, I don't get rid of paradigms like that. I help people transform them. This woman realized that even though it was her childhood things, what was holding her back, now she knows that in this beautiful system, this beautiful program she's designing, that's where she starts, is to help people move beyond whatever beliefs they had. And
Mm.
so it now becomes our teacher.
Beautiful. And it's a wonderful way to get that out because sometimes when it's all in here, we can't access it. So, Patsy Sanders gave you a shout out and said that she's done this work with you, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, in a moment, you guys are going to want to take advantage of the way to connect with Christi further. Now, Sylvia Parker has a question. She says, and I'm sorry to hear this, Sylvia, and I'm glad that you are breathing through it. She said, I was just told 3 months ago that my 28-year relationship that he's ending it. Our daughter's 14, breathing through it. Any insights? So that may or may not be kind of right on topic, but anything you want to offer to Sylvia?
Oh, number one, darling, go to your friends, get them to know truth for you, and know that you are connected to the divine, and the divine is only moving you in a new and beautiful direction. That's the laborious thinking. So Wallace Wattles says to know truth regardless of appearance.
Hmm.
Know truth regardless of appearance. Sweetheart, I'm so sorry that's happening to you, but I also know that the divine's got your back and that this is just moving you forward, right? Not right now. Go to your friends right now. That's where you can get the truth, the truth of knowing that you're a beautiful and lovely person, a wonderful expression of the divine. And that's the thought that we want to, every time we go, ouch, we want to go, I know, because I didn't finish that story quite. I set up, of course, the hotel we were in wanted me to get checked out. I had barely a sprained ankle for that whole thing. And then
Wow.
somebody on here listening is actually my cousin. And I just want to say, Jerry got the results back. He's fine. The pneumonia's cleared up. Everything is good. And was there good that came out of this? Yes, he's made some real decisions about how he wants to live his life. We have
Hmm.
those moments that really take us into knowing who we truly are. It's time for him to
Right.
do his next phase of his life.
Beautiful. I love that. And it sounds like Sylvia is reaching out. But Sylvia, I would also really encourage you, like Christy said, to ask specifically, not only for them to notice truth, but to reflect back to you and you reflect back to your daughter and have her ask her friends to reflect back what they see as your strengths, as your beauty, as your divine nature. What do they see specifically? Be
Yes.
really clear in that request because then they can help you more clearly too. So,
And write your asset list. Write
right,
your
you're at
asset list through your whole life. You will see you are so valuable.
that was awesome. I love that. So tell us just very quickly a little bit about your gift because it's a beautiful gift and I want them to have lots of information about it. It's a painting manifesting play shop, how to manifest anything for your business and life the creative way. It sounds fascinating and I definitely am going to sign up for it. So tell us about that.
Well, who doesn't love finger painting and going back to that childhood, right? So what I put together was a video to guide you through creating your own image and your own experience using finger painting. It first comes with the PDF that you download to help you get the supplies first, and then you paint with me and I help guide you through assessing the finger painting as well to see how that moves you to a next step.
So you guys, please go and grab that link in the chat there to be able to get that and put more creativity in your day and have more fun, because we could all use some lightening up. So Chrissy, talk a little bit about, we just got a few minutes left, but talk a little bit about the connection between creativity and creative expression, because some people might think, well, how is fingerprinting going to help me grow my business?
Finger painting.
So,
I did finger printing too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So finger
So,
painting, how is that going to help me grow my business? What's
so
the connection?
creative thinking is thinking thoughts you have never thought before. And it is our nature to do that. And usually when we get stuck, it's because we're not following our nature. So I help people learn to think beyond the box, to it's creative thinking expanded, to be able to have creative thinking in order to think thoughts you've never thought. That helps you go beyond, not just out of the box. Who needs a box anyway? To go beyond the box and to really begin having your own thoughts. And creativity is just a beautiful way to bring it from no words to the surface that we can identify it.
Oh, that's beautiful. And to Chanda, I'm not sure if I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. Sent you 3 hearts and said, you are amazing. And Sylvia said, cool, signed up. By the way, if you went and got that beautiful gift, then I want you to put hashtag got it in the chat so that we know that you're hearing this, seeing it, getting it, jumping on these things. Don't wait till later. Sylvia got it. So that's awesome. Don't wait till later, you all, because there's no time like now to seize opportunities and to follow that intuitive calling of, yes, this is my person. This is someone that I want to connect more with. So Laura got it. Congratulations. To Chanda got it. Way to go, you guys. So keep those coming. I want you to take advantage of these beautiful people and their wisdom and their opportunity to give you a bit of a mind shift or support with resources and access in ways that we don't have otherwise. That's why you're here. That's why we've accumulated these 200 amazing women. So what final thought would you like to leave everyone with, Christi, when it comes to making their leap?
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Patsy Sanders. She's going to be on this same format, so go listen to her. She's an image consultant who uses passion to change your life. And it's just like that is reaching out and getting support. We were not put on this planet to live by ourselves, to do it on our own. Go out. If you don't have 1, 2, or 3 coaches and 1, 2, or 3 good friends, find them to be supported into becoming your next best person. That masterpiece you came here to be.
Oh, that's beautiful. I really appreciate that. And everybody, our next speaker up on this track is Amy Jube. And she's going to talk about getting unstuck and stepping into the new, which I think is a beautiful combination with what Christi has been talking about. Christi's been giving you a lot of the be. Who do we need to be in order to do that? And Amy is going to be talking about getting unstuck and stepping into that new, that next leap. This is going to be a pre-recorded session, so there won't be an opportunity for questions and answers, although I might answer your questions that you have. But it will be pre-recorded, but it's going to be a valuable session. Amy couldn't be with us today. So thank you again, Christi. I love that you've been here. And what's your last thing that you want to say that is the call to action for these women today?
Know that you are a part of the divine, that you are put here as a masterpiece created by the divine, and discover that and live that. And life is just so awesome. Go out and find that awesomeness in life, regardless of what's happening.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Christi. Love your spirit, love your energy, love the wisdom and the access points and the perspective that you have. Really, really valuable. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. See you on the next track. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Voices of Women Summit, where our mission is to raise the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@voicesofwomensummit.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic speaker coming right up.